And that being said, let's get into that first story. We got it from NPR. Now, I used NPR on purpose as the source of this because we're going to rag on them later. Biden acknowledges his team should have done more COVID testing earlier. Now, that's the headline. But the point of this story is, marking the end of his first year in office with a long, wide-ranging formal press conference, Biden said it had been a year of challenges, but also a year of enormous progress, citing stats on vaccinations, job creation, and cuts to child poverty. The real story here is that Joe Biden had a press conference. Of course, NPR likes to soften the blow for the man because right now on Twitter, 25th Amendment is trending. Now, here's where it gets funny. Initially, it started trending because people critical of Joe Biden, which includes the independent, not unaffiliated voter and Republican voters, moderates, liberals, post-liberals, conservatives, libertarians, they're all basically saying, yo, I think something's wrong with Joe Biden. He's saying a bunch of crazy stuff. He's like inviting war with Russia and Ukraine. And then it gets taken over by the left, who starts calling people maggots, screaming the 25th Amendment, and then they just start showing, Donald Trump speaking and other stuff. I think the reality is there's one clip in particular that really exemplifies this. Someone asked Joe Biden directly why it is that so many people think he's in cognitive decline. And his response was, I have no idea. And it's funny because that's actually the correct answer. Joe Biden has no idea, right?
Fitting.
Well, so I find this fascinating that we're finally getting this press conference from Joe Biden and that people are using it as an opportunity to basically be like, this man should not be president.
I mean, I think people came to that realization as soon as he came into office. I think people came to that realization when he wasn't even running a campaign and the media was running it for him. But there's a lot of major bombshells in this kind of press conference that he released.
Well, real quick, I like that you called it a kind of press conference.
I mean, he was there for 2 hours, took 24 questions. Let's admit, that's sort of impressive for Biden, especially at his age. But he talked about a lot of nonsense. He was congratulating himself on his Afghanistan pullout. He said that America's making enormous progress. Meanwhile, we have record COVID cases. The United States government right now under his administration is getting 400 million N95 masks, over 400 million COVID tests, when the United Kingdom is literally getting rid of their vax passport system and mask mandates. What he's doing is the complete opposite of what should be doing. And let's not also forget, he pretty much invited Putin to invade Ukraine, which is an absolutely huge bombshell with a lot of significant ramifications.
And the other thing, too, I mean, look, Biden should fire every single person in that White House immediately, and I'll tell you why. The reason why they went and did this press conference, because tomorrow is the 1-year anniversary of his inauguration. So what they're doing from a strategic thing in their minds, not very smart, is they want to get ahead of it. I could just see him in the briefing room now with Pepper and Patty there and saying, hey, we're going to have this 1-year anniversary. We got to frame the headlines. Let's go out there and talk about everything great that we're doing. So Joe Biden gets out there and literally assumes responsibility for every malady that is affecting the United States right now. So basically he gets up there and he lists everything going wrong. Here's what we're doing about it. We're making great, doing progress. So, they're going to have some headlines for their 1-year anniversary tomorrow. I don't think it's the headlines they were looking for.
I don't know, though. You think the media is actually going to be fair and criticize Joe Biden?
So I got to tell you this. Here's the thing you got to keep in mind about reporters is they're basically
vultures.
They're alligators, right? They got to eat. And so it's a matter of time for how quickly they turn on someone, but they're going to turn on you. I mean, the easiest way to not get eaten is to not look like food. Well, Joe Biden right now looks like a big, juicy cheeseburger.
People are angry. I can't remember who was saying it, but they were like, when people go to the grocery store, they're angry. When they see their products are skyrocketing in cost, they're angry. When they see the gas prices, they're angry. I see these memes, man. There's a meme of somebody, all it is someone pumping gas. And it was like in 2019 or something, and it was like $1.70. And I was just like, wow, gas was under $2.
Yep.
I remember at that point, I was driving and I saw the gas prices and I was shocked because when I was 18 and working in Chicago, the gas prices were hitting $2 and it was a big deal. And now here we are under Trump and it's back under $2. And I was like, is that crazy? How is that? And now the gas prices are skyrocketing in California. What was that, like $9 in one? Was it like a while ago? Or was it $7?
I thought it was
6.
I thought it was more like 6, but you might be right.
There was like one particular town where it got like really, really high. Maybe 9 was.
I thought everyone drove Priuses out there. Do people still get gas out
and
there?
Teslas.
And Teslas, yeah.
Guilty.
And out here in the middle of nowhere, it's been in like the $3 to like mid $3 range. People go to the gas station. They're angry. I'll tell you this, from PR standpoint, Joe Biden coming out and reminding everybody of that is probably not a good idea. But to your point, you're right. I think journalists are going to be like, hey, a lot of people are really pissed off. Why? Everything happening around them. Hey, Joe Biden talked about it. There's our angle.
The other thing to keep in mind, too, is that ratings and subscriptions are down for everywhere in the mainstream media with no Trump. Trump basically, he created one of the industries he helped the most was the mainstream media. He gave everybody ratings boost. Right now, all the subscriptions, ratings are down. You saw, was it CNN's down 90%, whatever it is. So they have to turn, because if it's just softball city, they're not going to get any ratings. Even, look, on the drive out here, I was even listening to fake news CNN, and even they were turning on him. And it was amazing to hear, the Jake Tappers and the Wolf Blitzers and all these folks being critical of Biden. They're saying, clean up on, what was the one line I think Dana Bash used, was clean up on the State Department aisle or something like that with the Ukraine thing. Wow. I mean, they have, they see those ratings down 90%. You better believe they're going to turn on Joe Biden.
What are we at? 29 Democrats announcing their retirement? Was that it? Or was it 27?
So. I don't know those exact numbers.
But my point is, just real quick, even the Democratic politicians in Congress are starting to jump ship.
Yeah. It's only so long for those two dudes to hold up Bernie, right? Until the weight gets too strong
Bernie?
for them. The Weekend at Bernie's.
I'm
making a reference to
Bernie Sanders?
No. I'm making a reference to Weekend at Bernie's. Great movie, classic movie about a dead guy that two guys were carrying around to be alive. I'm not going to spoil the plot for you.
Definitely check it
out. A 30-year-old movie. All right.
But he gets elected in 2020.
yeah. Exactly, by the corporate media. The two people holding him up is the bureaucratic, corrupt system and, of course, the corporate media journalists. That weight of Bernie is getting very heavy, and they're starting to let go because it's too absurd not to call out Biden on his failures. For him to stand and talk to the American people and say what he did in Afghanistan was a success is absolutely crazy. He blamed everything because he wasn't able to pass the Build Back Better bill. He blamed, by the way, the New Hampshire governor for that. He said the New Hampshire governor is one of the biggest roadblocks to Build Back Better, which would have solved everything. No. Build Back Better would have created more government, which he has been implementing and using, which has been absolutely eviscerating our current way of life, destroying any kind of wealth, destroying any kind of future young people have in this country. Because when you look at his policies, these are the policies of the corporatist, the most corrupt special interest and lobbyist in Washington, D.C. that are absolutely getting away with murder and able to get away with whatever they want under his administration, which he's acting like a larger puppet for, as he's really a representative of them.
Let me read this. We got Charlie Spearing says, quote, "I didn't overpromise," says Joe Biden. Says he outperformed in his first year. Josh Hawley responds, "Store shelves are empty. Prices are soaring. Real wages are declining. American cities are engulfed in violence. The border is controlled by the cartels. And parents are treated as terrorists while actual terrorists go free. When do the Dems seriously consider the 25th Amendment?" And then what, Kamala Harris?
Yikes, that's a scary notion. One of the things, too, tell you a sure sign in politics when someone who's in office or candidate, when they're losing, when their idea to turn something around is all tactics as opposed to strategy. Now, this can a little bit nuanced, but I'm putting my politics hat back on for a moment here. So Joe Biden, in addition to listing out everything going around the country, his grand strategy was to get out of the White House. I have to get out of the White House. I have to tour the country. I got to go talk to people. Between COVID and between things going on here in Washington, I'm not getting face to face. If I do this, things are going to turn around. That's a tactic. That's a small thing like, hey, we're going to hold press conferences on Wednesdays, or I'm going to go out and we're going to, he blamed it on the communications effort and said, we have to talk to people better. Okay, when you're talking about stuff as a president like that, the president of the United States, the whole thing's disaster. That's why I said Klain, Peppermint Patty, Circle Back, they all need to be fired because so disastrous. The headlines tomorrow are just a nightmare.
And just to be clear, Peppermint Patty is Jen Psaki, right?
Yes. She's somewhat decently nice, but it's all's fair.
It was funny you called her that.
All's fair in politics.
And if you're discussing changing strategy instead of changing tactics, you're talking about more of a general behaviors, like how are we going to deal with climate change as opposed to or is climate change how big of a deal is climate change? Like that would be more of a strategy conversation.
Right. So here's the reality for Biden is that Biden has one speed. Today he literally said this was a buried line. I think I posted this on Getter. He said that we have to contrast against the other side more. He has one speed, and that's to go and say, I'm not Trump. And so usually what happens in an election is Joe Biden says, I'm not Trump. he ends up winning, and then the first year, second year, you don't have someone to say, I'm not Trump. Your ratings go down, and then as you get closer to the next election, then you have a chance to contrast against someone else. That's the only way that Biden has a chance of succeeding, is saying, I'm not Trump. We saw him pivot to that. He couldn't even say anything negative about Mitch McConnell. I don't know if you guys saw that. He was like, oh, I'm friends with Mitch McConnell. He's great. But a strategy thing is Joe Biden has to go and take it. Right now, he's playing the whack-a-mole with all these little things. A strategic change would be to go and say, rather than getting mired in all the Hill legislation, I'm going to go out there and launch a new initiative and get behind it and say, this administration is about, the chicken in every pot, or, this is about, helping this group of voters or something. But we need, so strategically, or he says, look, right now we're all in a fight against the CCP, or a fight against Putin and Russia. Some kind of strategic shift from domestic to international. That's a strategic shift, but just saying, I'm going to get out and go talk to people around the country. Do you think anyone who's pumping up and paying $5 or $6 a gallon for gas is going to give a, that he's going to get out of the White House more? No,
not at all. It's just, without Trump, they really don't have anything. And that was even during the election. Now we're getting into 2022. And it looks like with Democrats retiring, they see the writing on the wall. The media, you mentioned some of them now turning on Joe Biden, they see the writing on the wall. Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to watch live, you can check out this channel Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and if you want more unfiltered and uncensored content with all of these guests, go to timcast.com and become a member. All of these guests you know and love in exclusive segments on our website where we are unrestricted in what we talk about, so you'll definitely not want to miss it. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all next time.